Okay, so get ready because today we're doing a deep dive into something you're probably doing right now.
Hmm.
Sitting. And let me tell you, it might be slowly killing us, but don't worry, we're not saying stand for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But we are going to unpack some pretty wild research about how just sitting around all the time
Right.
impacts like everything. We've got a whole bunch of studies and global health reports and even some interesting cultural comparisons to look at. So we'll
Yeah.
be talking about how sitting affects your heart, your mental
Wow.
well-being, even stuff happening inside your cells you wouldn't believe.
Wow.
So get ready to maybe rethink how comfy that chair really is, because by the end of this, you just might want to get up and move around a bit.
It's true. This deep dive is going to challenge some assumptions, that's for sure. And one thing that's really interesting is that for something everyone does, we actually don't have a lot of data on how much time people worldwide spend sitting. A study from 2020, it was published in the International Journal of Behavioral Nutrition and Physical Activity, looked at this across 62 countries over a whole decade. And get this, most countries don't even keep track of this information.
That's crazy. It's like we've all decided to ignore this giant chair-shaped elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's like we've been so focused on studying how good exercise is for you that we've completely missed looking at the potential downsides of, well, just not moving.
Hmm.
And when we do look at the data we have, you see some interesting patterns. High-income countries, they average something like 5 hours of sitting every day, while low-income nations are closer to 2.7 hours.
So basically, the richer a country gets, the more its people just sit around.
Right.
I guess it makes sense, though. More desk jobs, longer commutes, more time on screens.
Exactly. Seems like all that progress comes with a side of, well, sitting. And you can probably guess all this sitting has some pretty serious consequences.
Okay, I'm ready. Tell me how bad is it, really?
Well, let's just say the World Health Organization is not too happy with all this sitting around we're doing. Back in 2020, they analyzed data from 1 million people, 1 million participants, and found a direct link between sitting for a long time and a higher risk of dying, especially from heart disease and cancer.
Whoa, okay, so it's not just about getting out of shape, it's about actual mortality. So how much sitting is too much? What's the limit?
The research shows that if you're sitting 9 to 10 hours a day, your risk goes up significantly. And to put that in perspective, a lot of people easily spend that much time sitting just at work, plus their commute.
Ugh, that hits a little too close to home for me, I gotta admit. But why? Why is sitting so bad for us? It seems so harmless, just resting our bodies.
Well, that's where things get really interesting. When you sit, you're basically not using any energy. And since 70% of our muscles are in our lower body, all that inactivity really affects everything else. It starts with your metabolism. When you're sitting, you burn fewer calories, which can make you gain weight. And it also increases your risk of type 2 diabetes because your body doesn't respond to insulin as well.
So it's not just that we're not burning calories while sitting, it's that we're actually messing out how our body uses those calories, even when we do eat.
Exactly. You're basically putting your metabolism to sleep.
Um,
But it goes even deeper than that. It even affects your cells. There's this process called autophagy, where your cells clean themselves up. They break down and recycle damaged
oh
parts.
yeah, I remember we talked about that in our episode on intermittent fasting, how it triggers that cellular cleanup.
That's right. And unfortunately, sitting for long periods seems to stop this natural cleaning process. It's like your cells are thinking, hey, we're supposed to be resting now, not cleaning.
So we're slowing down our metabolism A and D, stopping our cells from getting rid of their junk. No wonder sitting has been linked to so many health problems.
It's a double whammy, for sure. And as if that wasn't enough, we also have to think about how it affects our minds.
Okay, now things are getting really interesting. Lay it on me.
It's not just about how MUCH we sit, though. It's also about how our bodies react to it. Our nervous system is a big part of this whole sitting thing.
Okay, how so? What does our nervous system have to do with how much time we spend sitting down?
Well, you know how there's this thing called the autonomic nervous system? It controls all those things our body does without us thinking about it, like breathing, digestion, and yep, you guessed it, our sleep-wake cycle.
So basically, it's the behind-the-scenes crew that keeps everything running. But how does sitting mess that up?
So imagine this. You're sitting still for hours and hours. Your body, being all smart, starts to think, hey, we must be getting ready for sleep. Time to slow things down.
Wait, so my body might think my marathon work session means it's bedtime. That's kind of funny.
Oh.
And also a little scary.
Right. And that creates a problem. Your brain is going, nope, gotta finish this report. But your body's like, dude, I'm getting sleepy over here. And that can make you feel tired and sluggish, even if you've slept enough.
So that's why I always feel like I need a triple shot of espresso just to get through the afternoon.
Hmm.
It's like my brain and body are fighting, and caffeine is the only thing that can make them get along.
And that's where the trouble really starts. We try to fight that tiredness with caffeine or whatever, but that can make you more anxious, which makes it harder to relax and sleep well, and then the whole cycle starts over again. It's like we're stuck in a tug of war, and our nervous system is the rope.
Okay, you've convinced me sitting is definitely the bad guy here. But what can we do about it? Are we just doomed to be tired and full of cellular junk forever?
Not at all. The good news is that even small changes can make a big difference. Remember that study from MD Anderson Cancer Center we talked about earlier? Just replacing 30 minutes of sitting with some light activity, like a brisk walk, lowered the risk of cancer by 8%. And if you bump that up to something more intense, like cycling, you get a 31% risk reduction.
Wow, okay, so getting our bodies moving really does matter. But it's not just about adding exercise, right? It's about actually sitting LSS overall.
You got it. It's about moving throughout the day, not just hitting the gym for an hour and then sitting the rest of the time. The World Health Organization says we should aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise every week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity stuff. But that's on top of cutting back on sitting.
So those 150 minutes are like a starting point, but we need to go further and find ways to break up all that sitting during the day.
Exactly. And even little things can help. There was a study in Japan that found that ANY movement, even just standing up for a second every 30 minutes, was linked to a lower risk of dying.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not about running marathons. It's about those little bursts of movement throughout the day. It's like movement snacks
Yeah,
for our bodies and minds.
I love that movement snacks.
Yeah.
That brings up something really important that people often forget. It's not just about what you do, it's also about the environment you're in.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying we need to design spaces and systems that make it easier to move instead of sit.
Exactly. It's about changing our mindset from, oh, I have to move more,
Hmm.
to how can I make it so moving is natural and fun? And that goes for everything from our homes and offices to our cities and communities.
Okay, so it's a bigger picture kind of thing. We need to create a whole culture of movement. But that seems so huge. Where do we even start?
I know, it can feel overwhelming. But even small things can make a difference. For example, we can advocate for cities that are easier to walk in, public transportation that encourages movement, and workplaces that prioritize their employees' well-being. Things like standing desks and walking meetings.
Yeah. It's about making moving our bodies normal and important, not just an inconvenience or something we do if we have time. But what about people who are already stuck in places where they sit all day? What can they do?
That's a great question. And that's where individual action comes in. We can wait for the world to change, or we can start making small changes ourselves right now. And trust me, those small changes can add up.
Okay, I'm listening. What are some things our listeners can do today to start sitting less and moving more?
First of all, set a timer. Aim for 25, 30 minutes of sitting, then get up and move for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Walk around the room, stretch, even have a little dance party. Just get that blood flowing.
I love that. It's like a little movement reminder. And what about just adding more movement to our day-to-day stuff?
Definitely. That's a great idea. Take the stairs instead of the elevator, park farther away from where you're going, and walk the rest of the way. Walk or bike to run errands if you can. It's all about finding those little chances to get some extra steps in.
Yeah, it's like turning everyday things into mini workouts. And what about people who work at desks all day? Are they just stuck sitting?
Not at all. You could try getting a standing desk, or if that's not possible, maybe stack some books to make your workspace higher. And even if you can't stand all day, just standing up for phone calls or video meetings helps.
I got a standing desk a few months ago, and it's been amazing. I feel so much more energy throughout the day.
That's great to hear. And for people who aren't ready to give up their chairs completely, there's always fidgeting.
Oh, yeah, fidgeting. I've been told to sit still so many times in my life, but now you're telling me it might actually be a good thing.
Exactly. Even though it might annoy the people around you, fidgeting can burn a few extra calories and keep your blood moving.
Just to all the fidgeters out there, embrace your restlessness. It's a sign your body wants to move, and that's a good thing.
And here's another easy one. Make it a habit to get up and move during commercials when you're watching TV. Do some chores, stretch, or even just walk around. It's all about raking up that sitting time.
It's so simple, but it makes so much sense. It's like we've been trained to just sit and watch, but our bodies are meant to move.
You got it. And one last thing that I find really helpful is finding someone to keep you accountable. Tell a friend or family member about your goals and encourage each other to stay active.
Oh, I like that. It's like having a built-in support system.
Exactly. When you move with other people, it's more fun, and it also makes your relationships stronger and creates good associations. And speaking of the mental side of things, there's another whole layer to this sitting problem that we need to talk about.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So it's not just about our physical health. There's a mental side to breaking free from sitting all the time.
Absolutely. And that's what we'll be diving into in part 3 of this deep dive.
So we've talked about how sitting too much is bad for our bodies, AD our minds, but, knowing something's bad and actually changing how we do things are two different things.
You're absolutely right. We can have all the knowledge in the world. But if we don't deal with what's stopping us in our heads from breaking this sitting habit, all that information is useless.
Okay, so let's talk about those mental blocks. What makes it so hard to stop sitting so much?
Well, one thing is that we live in a culture that's all about being busy and productive, even if it means sacrificing our well-being.
Yeah.
We're constantly being told we need to be doing something, achieving something, optimizing every single minute. And a lot of times that doing means, yep, sitting.
It's true. It's like sitting has become the same thing as being productive.
Yeah.
You think, I'm at my desk, I must be working hard. But as we've learned, that's not always true. In fact, all that sitting might be making us less productive over time.
Exactly. And then there's the whole comfort and convenience thing. Our lives are designed around sitting. We have comfy chairs, ergonomic desks, streaming services that make you want to binge watch for hours. It's easy to just think, well, this feels good right now. Why change?
Yeah, it's like we've become addicted to how easy and instantly gratifying sitting is. But like with any addiction, the long-term effects can be really bad.
That's a good way to put it. It's like choosing to stay under a warm blanket on a cold day, even though you know it won't help you build a fire.
Okay, so we've identified some of the mental things that keep us glued to our chairs. But how do we break free? What can we do to stop listening to that siren song of the sedentary life?
I think a good place to start is to change how we think about moving. Instead of seeing it as a chore, something we have to do, let's see it as a chance, an opportunity.
An opportunity for what? Sore muscles?
Well, not necessarily. Think of it as a chance to have more energy, clear your head, feel happier, and even, yeah, be more productive.
Okay, I like that. It's not a punishment. It's a way to recharge and feel good.
Exactly. And another thing that helps is to focus on how good moving feels right now, instead of getting caught up in some far-off goal.
What do you mean by that?
Like, instead of thinking, I need to exercise to lose weight or whatever, try paying attention to how good it feels to stretch your legs, get some fresh air, or even just change your posture. Notice those little changes in your energy, your mental clarity, how you feel overall.
So it's about enjoying those little rewards, a good stretch, the energy boost from a brisk walk instead of stressing about some huge health goal.
Exactly. And here's another tip. Make moving fun. Find activities you actually like, whether it's dancing, hiking, swimming, playing a sport, or just taking a walk with a friend.
Yeah, it shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be something you look forward to, like a reward for your body and mind.
Right. And if you can find ways to move with other people, even better.
Like taking a dance class with friends or going on a hike with family.
Exactly. When moving is a social thing, it's more enjoyable, and it also makes your relationship stronger and creates positive associations. It's like making movement part of your life, something that's just natural and fun.
Okay, I'm getting motivated. But I have to be honest, there are days when I just feel blah. Like even the thought of getting up from my chair is exhausting. Any tips for those days?
Totally. Everyone feels that way sometimes, and it's important to be kind to yourself. But even when you don't feel like it, there are ways to get yourself moving.
Like what? Tell me your secrets.
One thing is to start small. Instead of trying to do a 30-minute workout, just commit to 5 minutes of stretching or walking around your house. Often, that little bit of movement is enough to get you going and give you more energy.
So it's like tricking your brain into moving, right? You say it's just 5 minutes, but then you end up feeling good and maybe doing more.
Exactly. And another good tip is to plan ahead so you don't have to make decisions when you're already tired. Decide what you're going to do beforehand.
I get it. It's like having your workout clothes ready and your exercise class booked, so there's no excuse.
Exactly. And lastly, don't underestimate music. Put on something upbeat that makes you want to move.
Music is the best for motivation. It's like an instant mood boost.
For sure. So even when you're not feeling it, remember that any movement helps. And don't be too hard on yourself if you have a day where you just can't get off the couch. Tomorrow's a new day. You can always start fresh.
We've talked about a lot today, from the scary stats about how sitting affects our health, to the cultural stuff that's going on and the mental tricks we can use to break free from this sitting all the time lifestyle. It's been really eye-opening. But before we finish up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about, a challenge, you could say.
I'm all for a good challenge. What is it?
I want everyone listening to think about their own relationship with sitting. How much do you sit each day? What makes you sit more? What's stopping you from moving more? And then my challenge to you is to make one small change in your routine to add more movement to your life.
Yeah, maybe set that timer to get up every 30 minutes, take the stairs instead of the elevator, or have a little dance party every afternoon.
Whatever it is, make it something you can actually do, something you enjoy, and most importantly, something you can keep doing. Because even small changes, when you do them regularly, can make a huge difference in our health, our well-being, and just how good our lives feel overall.
It's not about becoming a super athlete overnight. It's about making choices that put movement and well-being first.
So get out there, move your bodies, and enjoy the power of an active life.
And until next time, stay curious, stay active, and keep on diving deep.